From the alternative world of video games today, Caroline dresses up in a fantasy outfit! Old school scrap as the SNES takes on the Mega Drive, the making of cannon fodder, and semi-final time in our football championship. If you gotta drive, you gotta drive in style. Maybe your house has just been repossessed. Maybe your children are starving. But if you can spend your last $100 hiring a yellow Ford Mustang convertible, I think you're going to allow yourself a little bit of pride. There's nothing more unsatisfying than a shoddy game ending. In today's Top 5, we feature 5 of the worst. At number 5, it's Pro Evolution Soccer 3. If England did score some crackers, if they did keep the red cast to a minimum, and if they did survive the penalty shootout, the cup-winning celebrations would be awesome. So why does Pro throw the dullest party ever? The team waddles up with the excitement of dole queue attendees to collect cheap, tacky medals from 2 blokes who've never played football in their lives. And when they do finally go into raptures, they burst into your dad's wedding dance. I'm sorry, but we want more. Where's the 3 AM debauchery with page 3 models? Where's the roasting? Where's our footballing dream? At number 4, it's Medal of Honor Rising Sun. After slaughtering hundreds of enemy soldiers in some godforsaken Pacific hellhole, you'd be forgiven for expecting a smidgen of recognition, maybe even a Medal of Honor or 2. Well, the only people getting slapped on the back are EA's programming geeks who quite literally take all the credit. So thanks a bunch, Rebecca, Crazy Kyle, Steve and all the rest of yous. You are the real heroes. We'll be back later to reveal what's 3 and 2 in our top 5 worst game endings. There are some who say a flash car is nothing but a disguise of a man's physical shortcomings. But let me tell you a secret. There are horses out there who gaze upon me with envy. More secrets revealed now in today's Behind the Game. It's 1993, and already riding high from the success of Sensible Soccer, Sensible Software are about to release another of the Amiga's crown jewels, and one of the first squad-based action shooters ever, Cannon Fodder.
Actually, what we used to call it, internally before it was Cannon Fodder, was Lemmings with Weapons. It was around about the time Lemmings was around, and that was kind of the basis of what Cannon Fodder started as, like a team-based thing.
And like its inspiration, Cannon Fodder owes as much to the puzzle genre as the shoot 'em up. Even in early missions, players had to give a lot of thought as to how to complete each phase.
It's quite a cleverly structured game, Cannon Fodder. It's got 72 levels. Every level you're introducing something new all the time. Maybe the balancing was the hardest thing to get it right. And actually I think, in retrospect, it's probably a bit too hard. Most people got stuck about a third of the way in the game. Most people haven't seen the last disc at all.
And a hard game meant a high death toll. But in sharp contrast to many modern efforts, Cannon Fodder tried not to treat the death of its tiny soldiers lightly.
So you can lose, in the original Cannon Fodder, up to 6 guys at a time. So you could easily lose like 30 guys, hardly notice it and get on with the game. But what we did with Cannon Fodder is at the end of each mission, we named all the guys and they all scrolled up with a little sad tune about all their names, about them dying, and then we gave them all gravestones and stuff. So we kind of tried to show the difference between the glory of the guys getting promoted and their medals going up and the ranks going up and the guys dying, and how easy and expendable people are and more. It was kind of like a laugh. We had a bit of a serious thing kicking around there, which I think some people got. Loads of people love the game, and loads of people talk about it fondly and remember it, and they talk about wasting all their time at university playing Cannon Fodder instead of getting on with their work. And it's really very nice to have been associated with something that successful and good, and I'm proud of it, you know?
We scoured the Premiership and the Championship in search of the best Pro Evolution players to stage the world's first virtual football competition. 8 pros have to compete through group rounds and knockout stages until one of them has earned the right to be crowned the When Games Attack Football Champion.
Okay, so we already know how the groups finished. Let me know who's in the semi-final, but I thought we'd put up the tables again in case Stephen Bywater's mates are watching. Look, he got 0! 2 thumbs up today because it's the second semi-final of our When Games Attack Football Challenge. I've got Watford's Scott Fitzgerald, QPR's Martin Rowlands, and anybody's if they'll pay, Dominic Diamond here. Right, Scott, let's talk to you first of all. You weren't that good in the group stages. Well, no, what I mean is that I think you only scored 2 goals. You were unbeaten, but that was 2 draws and a win. I think scraped through, or do you feel I'm doing you a disservice there?
Yeah, I feel maybe a bit of disservice there. I kind of took my foot off the pedal on the last group game, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't want any niggling injuries or anything like that, you know, before the semi-final.
So what are you bringing to this semi-final then? As far as the viewers are concerned, what would they hope to see?
Hopefully a bit of flair and a bit of skill, you know, from the Italians.
Martin Rowlands, I think the undisputed star of the tournament so far. I think you started off easily, you played your way into the tournament, and that last game where you slotted 3 in against Pretty Boy.
Yeah, I started slowly, but pushed on there. First game was a bit dodgy, but pushed on now, and hopefully I can get another win and get in the final now.
What kind of tactics are we going to see? Gung-ho, or are you going to sit and let him take the game to you and wait? And
I'll be playing the same tactics as I've been playing, just aggressive style football.
for the second semi-final, let's find out what happens after the break. Before we go, there's just time to see what's made the 3 and 2 spots of the worst game endings of all time. At 3, it's Quake 2. The ending to this otherwise quality first-person shooter is drowning in lazy tire cliches. Let's count them. Number 1, Space Marine runs through corridors of spaceship on a countdown to destruction and gets in last remaining life pod. Number 2, life pod is jettisoned into space, conveniently outrunning the massive explosion. Number 3, the life pod heads towards rubbish-looking planet. Number 4, life pod crash lands on aforementioned rubbish-looking planet. Audience tension rises as they fear he's dead until... hand thrusting through wreckage towards sky makes it 5. At number 2, it's Devil May Cry. Now, this ending could have made video game history by having the main character's copy. Despite slaying the evil beast Mudus, Dante and Trish know they'll never escape the crumbling sewer alive. Trish. But then comes the biggest cop-out of all time. In a Deus Ex Machina that would make Euripides blush, a biplane miraculously appears from nowhere, allowing our 2 heroes to safely fly away into the Hollywood sunset.
I feel like my heart is becoming clear.
Ah, it makes you sick. We'll be back in part 2 to reveal the worst video game ending ever. In Caroline in a fantasy maid outfit. Classic consoles go head to head, and we've got the worst ending in video game history. But first, it's over to Stevie Morgan in the commentary box for our second Football Challenge semi-final.
Thanks, Dominic. It's raining, but I'm up here in my commentary position wearing a Macintosh and nothing else. It's Italy versus Portugal for the right to be in the final, and it's Portugal on the attack, and they've hit the post! Martin Rowland knows he came very close there to drawing first blood, but now it's Italy on the attack. What a goal! That was a piece of art. That was a sculpture named Get In, and that is my tip to win this year's Turner Prize. His foot is a chisel, the goal is a piece of marble. It's 1-0 to Italy, and just look at them go again. They want another. They know they have to do everything they can to silence this Portuguese side, who promise so very much under the guiding hand of Martin Rowland. And just look at him there. Is it an equaliser? No! But just how calm are the Italian defence? very laissez-faire, which is French for really couldn't give a damn. As the Italians get the second half underway, I wonder if Martin Rowland can sense his dreams of virtual football glory ebbing away, and that could be the goal that seals his fate, and indeed Portugal's demise in this competition. A wonderfully taken goal there. It's Italy 2, Portugal 0, but that's worth taking another look at. Glorious stuff. But Portugal looking to salvage something out of this game, even if it's just a bit of self-respect. But they don't even get that. The game ends there. Italy 2, Portugal 0.
Well, Scott Fitzgerald, I said in the interview at the beginning, you've been by far the best player in the tournament. I said I never had any doubt about you, mate. You've been class from the off. I'd imagine you'll have something to say to me now.
Yeah, no, I think you're right what you said there.
No, that was good. I have to say, for me, that was an upset, that game.
Yeah, I think, I was a bit lucky on the first chance there, we hit the post, but then got my 2-goal lead again and managed to hold on to it this time.
And again, super cool finishing from you. Both goals by Vieri.
Yeah, he's been player of the tournament so far, I think, and he took his goals well.
I think it's been a wonderful journey for Scott Fitzgerald so far, this tournament. Just think, a few weeks ago you were selling hard drives, what was that, a couple of days ago? And now you're playing professional football,
Yeah.
You're through to the final. Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, it's not bad,
Oh, tell you what, you don't know what the lottery numbers are going to be next week, do you?
No,
The luck you'll have.
I'll keep them to myself.
Yeah. Martin Rowland, do you know what? I tell you what, if we were running a book on this, I would have put you down when it came to the semi-finals. I would have said, this is the guy that's going to win the tournament.
Yeah, no, a bit gutted. Like you said, I hit the post early. Could have been a different story, but fair play to him. He's put 2 good finishes away.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, listen, thanks so much for taking part, Martin. Nice to meet you, mate.
Thanks.
All the best. And so the grand final then, next time you see us will be Alexis Nicholas against Scott Fitzgerald. Scott, obviously, Alexis, he's a mouthy one, always banging on about how brilliant he is. Have you got a message for him?
Yeah, I'm the daddy.
Join us next time, find out who is the daddy.
One says black, the other says white. One says left, the other says right. They never can agree. The Xbox plays into PC. Trying to cook their fuse to bed as Queenie and Puppy head-to-head.
Yes, viewers, it's time for another head-to-head. 2 more games, duking it out to find out which one is... Excuse me. Come on, girls. I like your mobile phones, but this is no time to be chatting to your mates. What? You've set up a CD chat line? Ah, that's vile. What's the number? Cheers. Okay, ladies, get to your boxes. It's a little bit different today because we're featuring old school consoles. Cuddly's opted for the sleek dark beauty of the Sega Mega Drive. Koini goes for its big rival, the Super Nintendo, although some people did call it the SNES, but they were morons. Round 1. Gameplay.
With games like Super Mario World and Super Tennis, the Super Nintendo required a certain level of skill and dedication from the player. As such, the SNES playing experience was best appreciated by the more hardcore gamer. The Sega Mega Drive stood for one thing: fun. The genius of Streets of Rage and the frantic mayhem of Road Rash appealed to gamers' love for an uncomplicated but exciting experience. But which retro console did you prefer to play? 56% of the 100 gamers we surveyed said the Super Nintendo offered better gameplay. Round 1 to the SNES. 2 more rounds to go.
So the first round gameplay goes to Koini and the Super Nintendo. I don't see any complaints, really, Cuddly. 2 words: altered beast. Round 2. Lifespan.
The Super Nintendo kept the lone gamer busy by offering some excellent RPGs. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and the acclaimed Super Metroid could be played for hours in joyful solitude. The Mega Drive upped its lifespan by offering multiplayer sports games stuffed full of party atmosphere. There was nothing better than sitting down with friends for epic play sessions on Micro Machines or Madden NFL. But which system kept you occupied the most? 53% of those surveyed said the Sega Mega Drive had the better lifespan. The Mega Drive draws even in the second round. One more round to go.
So Cuddly and the Mega Drive pull one back there on the lifespan front. Not really surprising, Queenie, because the Super Nintendo only had about 3 games. OK, round 3, the deciding round. Whoever loses this one gets the forfeit. Round 3, graphics.
The Super Nintendo had visual effects which seemed to push it beyond its 16-bit barrier. Mode 7 simulated a 3D effect with normal sprites, and the Super FX upgrade chip even generated polygons. The Mega Drive may have stuck to 2D animation, but fans might say that was no bad thing. The conversion of Earthworm Jim was graphically superior to the SNES version, and the colour, imagination and speed of the Sonic games are still admired today. But which console did you think featured better looking games? 62% of our survey said the Super Nintendo had better graphics. Round 3 goes to the SNES, which means the SNES beats the Mega Drive 2 rounds to 1, making it today's winner.
Congratulations, Queenie. I always knew this Super Nintendo was going to win it. You never called it SNES, did you? No, exactly. So, the viewers are probably wondering what forfeit we've got for Cuddly this week. Oh, what's that noise? It's all good, clean fun. Join us next time for another head-to-head. Time now to reveal what is the worst video game ending ever. But first, let's look back on the other 4 blowouts. At number 5, Sip from the Poison Chalice in Pro Evolution Soccer 3. At 4, Credit Robbing in Medal of Honor Rising Sun. At 3, Cliched Rubbish in Quake 2. And the Devil May Cry copping out at number 2. But the number 1 worst video game ending ever is Resident Evil. Now, admittedly, this only applies if you play as Jill, but those that did quickly appreciated that Miss Valentine was a true beacon of feminism. She's the one killing all the zombies, she's the one destroying the tyrant, and she's the one who risks her life rescuing Chris Redfield, who, I have to say, despite acting tough, manages to get himself stupidly locked up, while Jill takes on the worst that the game has to throw at you. So what do we see in her triumphant cutscene? Jill cuddling up to the bloke she's just saved like a little girl while he acts like a big man. We know the truth. The Japanese delicacy of raw pufferfish can kill within seconds. If only I'd known that before I hosted that dinner for the Japanese Interior Ministry. Still, every cloud has a silver lining, and my subsequent extradition is Caroline Flack's gain.
When I was younger, I used to enjoy dressing up as my mum. She then got back at me by sending me to a party in a costume made entirely of bin bags. Since then, though, I've put my dressing up days well and truly behind me. Maybe I should live in Japan, where dressing up is just a way of life. For a lot of teenagers in Japan, it's more than a way of life, it is their life. Dressing up as their favourite video game, anime and manga characters is a massive subculture with over 50,000 participants. If I was going to join this happy throng, the first thing I needed was a costume. Now, most cosplay lovers spend all their time and all their hard-earned cash in making their costumes. But naughty, lazy people who can't be bothered go to shops like this. The only rule of cosplay seems to be to look somehow outlandish. But why do people do it?
It's for people who are so into a manga or computer game character that they decide they want to be that character, to dress up like them.
And how much do people pay for these outfits? I mean, what's the highest amount of money anyone's forked out for an outfit?
セットで40万円ぐらい。
For?
40万円。
Wow. How much is that in English pounds?
2G.
2 grand? Wow. Can I have that costume, please? decided on this as my final costume. A bit of a cosplay favourite from the weird PS2 dating game, Pia Carrot.
Well, I'm standing outside the cultural convention of characters. I got all my gear on, looking forward to seeing everyone else's as well. Went out last night though, feeling a bit rough, don't really know what to expect, and I'm worried about three things. One, am I going to be the only one who's dressed up? Two, am I going to be sick? And three, am I going to bump into anyone who was in that bar last night? Other than that, I'm fine.
C3 was your classic Japanese convention, a celebration of every hobby known to man. Before I went to meet my fellow cosplayers, I had a look around.
Found other people who are dressed up, and I'm going to create my own competition for the best costume.
As a prize, I'd selected this little chap, an example of our own form of British cosplay.
Now, I know I look weird, I look a bit wrong, at least I'm not behaving weird. All these men here are queuing up to take pictures of this little girl here. If that happened in England, they'd be arrested. Why do you do this? Why do you dress up?
Basically, it's fun. I get to meet people who are a little bit different and they have different ideas, and we make friends and exchange views.
You've won my best costume competition and you're going to win an English guard.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Well, I think I've immersed myself in cosplay as much as I possibly can, and you know, I like it. I get the gist of it. They take photos of you, you take photos of them, you wave at them, they wave back. You know, it's good fun, but I think I want to be me again. In fact, I really want to be me again. I want to be me again. I want to be me again.
Well, that's all for today's show. I've run into a little bit of a misunderstanding here, but I'm sure I'll have it all cleared up before the next When Games Attack. Now, listen, officer, I'll have you know I am very good friends with Richard and Judy.
Have you got a name?
Newcastle.
What, your name?